This video describes how I fabricated a mast to hold a GoPro camera at the stern of my Eddyline Sitka LT kayak. A camera mounted high behind me gives an over-the-shoulder perspective view. The bracket for the mast is held in place by threaded knobs, making the mast steady and easy to install and remove. It also incorporates a lanyard in case either the camera or mast get dislodged, and also a USB cable that is used along with a power bank to allow extended recording time with the camera. I modified two of the deck line guides to accommodate a bracket to hold the mast. The guide originally had a bolt inserted from the top with a nut and washer underneath inside the hull. I flipped this arrangement upside down, inserting an 832 bolt and oversized washer upward from inside the hull through the guide, and then added a hex-shaped double-threaded brass coupling nut on the top of the outside. When I first installed the coupling nut, I grabbed it with pliers, heated it with a blowtorch for 10 seconds, then pressed it into the plastic nut, making a hex-shaped pocket to prevent the nut from rotating. I made the shaft from 1-inch diameter carbon fiber tube. You might be able to use a shaft from an old or broken paddle, or something you may have in your workshop parts box. The shaft I used is 29 inches long. A 1/4-20 threaded star nut is inserted in each end of the shaft. It is important to remember before setting the nuts to route the lanyard and the USB cable through the tube. I also recommend stuffing the tube full of styrofoam packing peanuts to prevent the USB cable from rattling around inside the tube. Otherwise, the rattling noise would be picked up by the camera microphone. The star nuts are difficult or impossible to remove once in place, so make sure everything is correct before setting them. You can set the star nut without purchasing a setting tool, but the tool installs the nut squarely and securely in less than 10 seconds and may be worth the expense. I used a benchtop mini milling machine to cut oval holes at the top and bottom of the tube for the lanyard and USB cable, and line them with rubber grommets. The camera is fastened at the top of the mast to a cap mount that is usually used on a bicycle head tube. The cap mount may come with a metric threaded bolt, so you may have to replace that with a 1/4-21. I drilled a hole in the cap mount to route the tether through. All the metal components of the mast are made of stainless steel in order to prevent rusting. The bracket is made from 1-inch wide, 1/8 inch thick stainless steel that I clamped in a vise and beat with a hammer in order to make the bends. I made the bracket high enough so the shafts of my spare paddles can pass underneath it. The knobs that hold the shaft upright and that hold the two bracket pieces together are 1/4-20 thread. The knobs that hold the bracket to the brass coupling nuts are 832 thread. I added rubber caps to the ends of the bracket feet to prevent them from scratching and gouging the deck of the kayak. I only get about 1 hour of life out of a GoPro battery. I use a power bank that I either clip to the deck or place inside the aft storage hatch, threading the USB cable underneath the edge of the rubber lid. I use an aftermarket GoPro camera battery door that has a pass-through for the USB connector. This door is not waterproof, but I don't plan to capsize or Eskimo roll on the calm and flat lakes and rivers I paddle on. I put a rubber band at the top of the tube and stuffed the ends of the lanyard and USB cable under it to keep them from rattling. It's frustrating to have the videos you took ruined by the sound of a mini carabiner or USB cable banging against the mast. Here is some footage of the mast in use with the GoPro 11 camera. Here is a view from a GoPro 9 camera on a low suction mount at the bow of the kayak, pointing rearward. The camera mast on the stern of the boat is rarely even seen. The mast has its purpose, is useful, but also appears cumbersome and ugly to other boaters and in the view from other cameras. So I use the mast only when I need it. The mast could be taken down, the brackets stored in a hatch, and the shaft bungeed to the deck, but it seems more than a bit of fuss to do. Overall, the mast is a useful and practical tool to use in making some of my videos. A full parts list is included in the YouTube description of the video. Thanks for watching.